Hey everyone, Captain Amazing here, and today we're going to go over how to 3-star the Assault Battle Ground War. So let's jump into it. So this is the team comp that I chose for a blend of approachability, but also the mechanics of this fight. So Jedi Knight Luke is essential. You're gonna need his lead. His lead is the only thing that makes this fight possible at Challenge Tier 3, unless you have JMK, and it's a horrible fight anyways if you do it. So this is the best way, most efficient, least painful, really easy. Next, we have Hermit Yoda. So Hermit Yoda is included because he's a requirement for Jedi Knight Luke. So most players should have Hermit Yoda as well. I included Grandmaster Yoda because of his mechanics. The mechanics are really strong. We'll go over that later. And then Jedi Knight Anakin is a Lightspeed bundle character. He's really easy to get. So I just included him as the fifth. And then Jolee Bindo. Mechanics don't run well because he's a Old Republic with Jedi Knight Luke, but I chose him for a different reason, and we'll go over that once we talk about the zetas. So zetas that are necessary, you need the lead for Jedi Knight Luke. The lead is absolutely important. Like, you cannot do this without that lead. If you don't have the lead zeta, it's just not possible. So you need that. The other zeta, it's okay. Like, it's not a bad zeta. It's a luxury zeta. 100% not needed. Just makes him a little faster. Hermit Yoda, his lead or his zeta is pretty useful. So if you have this one, which reduces the cooldown, and then all Jedi allies gain foresight, it's and some protection. It's useful. You do use it sometimes when you, if depending on the relics that you bring and the Jedi that you bring, his zeta may be very important for keeping your team alive, because these droids and these separatists can hit pretty hard. And if you have weaker Jedi here, then that extra foresight coupled with the foresight from Grandmaster Yoda can be very influential in just keeping everyone alive. All right, so the zeta for Grandmaster Yoda, again, also very good. I would say you need at least one of them, for the foresight. Like, foresight is very important in this. When I did it, I didn't get hit very much, and that's because my relics are kind of higher than what you would expect. And I brought Jedi Knight Anakin as my fifth, who does a lot of damage. But if you do this with lower, even like a gear 12, I think I originally did this with gear 12 on Jedi Knight Luke. But if you do this, and you have like a gear 12 Yoda or a lot of gear 12 characters, then you're gonna have to have this foresight, because it's gonna take you longer to kill, even though they're moving really, really slow. Like, your characters can die. So having these zetas are recommended for Grandmaster Yoda for his battle meditation, and Hermit Yoda for his strength flows from the Force. Probably can do it without it, but definitely recommended. The zeta for Jedi Knight Anakin is completely useless. Don't worry about that. And then the zeta for Jolee. This is why Jolie's here. In the beginning, you may have to play, especially depending on your gear levels, you may have to play it a bunch of times until your team survives. Or you can bring Jolee, and then you just have to play it until Jolee revives everyone. I didn't lose anyone in the beginning. Again, my relics are decent. So relic 7 on Jedi Knight Luke, 5 on Hermit Yoda, 3 on Jolee, 8 on Grandmaster Yoda, and 4 on Jedi Knight Anakin. So not a problem. No one died in the beginning opening. I played it one time, just the first time I recorded it, so I played it through. But if you want to have a little more insurance on ensuring that if someone like Grandmaster Yoda, he can die very, very easily, especially if you have him low gear, then Jolee Bindo is great for that, to have a revive, so you don't have to worry about like restarting. So if you want a smoother ride, then Jolee Bindo is absolutely great for that, for that reason alone. So Jedi Knight Revan, I originally did it with him. I didn't do it this time because he doesn't feed turn meter to Jedi Knight Luke. Mine does a lot of damage, and then the more Old Republic Jedi that you have, the less turn meter that's given to Jedi Knight Luke, and you have to generate a lot of turn meter so that you can give him turns so that he can get his stun ready for the next phase. So the mechanics of this, Jedi Knight Luke is the only reason that this is possible, and I want to talk about this. So at the start of the encounter, all Jedi allies, excluding Old Republic and the granted ability heroes, arise, right? So so this is a long ability, but at the start of each Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker's turns, all enemies are reduced to his base speed at the end of the encounter. So until the end of the encounter. So pretty much what happens is the second Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker takes a turn, then all the enemies are his speed. So I have him, and let's go over the modding real quick for the team. So I have him at 123 speed. You don't have to go that slow, but the slower you have him, the better. So this is my cut mods. Like, they're absolutely horrible. But all offense, like 3 speed, almost 0 speed on here. You don't have to go this slow. Honestly, whatever speed you want. I think the first time I did it, I had his normal speed mods on, and he's normally around, I think, like 244 or something like that, and it was perfectly fine. This just made it a lot easier when I made him like dirt slow, because the enemy just didn't take turns. So ideally, if I would have had like a mod here that had 0 speed and the one that had no speed, then yeah, that's even better. But I went with an offense set and crit chance. I didn't really care about anything else other than the primaries here in the sets. So that was made it really smooth, really easy. The rest, these are just my normal mods. So just speed on Hermit Yoda, some survivability. Jolie, normally you have him modded for like some tenacity because he has crit avoidance and just a little bit of speed and some health. So you just want him survivable. Grandmaster Yoda, I don't have good mods on him, so he only has 91 speed. You mod him for damage, so pretty much just as much offense as you can get on the guy with a speed arrow. Because he doesn't crit, he just does special damage. He can hit really hard, so that's how you have him modded. And then Jedi Knight Anakin, these are my normal mods for him. So just crit damage, some crit chance. He had some potency on there as well, so yeah, he's modded for potency. Not important here, but this is just how I have him modded. So he's modded really fast. I wouldn't worry about these mods. You can literally have whatever you need right here. Very flexible on the Jedi, as long as you have Jedi Knight Luke here. And I would 100% recommend Hermit Yoda and Grandmaster Yoda. Like these two, and you're going to see Grandmaster Yoda is what drives the turn meter train for Jedi Knight Luke. Jedi Knight Luke is very slow. Every time a non-Old Republic Jedi takes a turn, he gets 10% turn meter. So Grandmaster Yoda is just pumping him with turn meter. So you're going to want that. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the fight. But first, there's one thing I did want to touch on here, and that's this. So the Moment of Glory. This is the special event ability, reusable in 4 turns, gain an immediate turn with all the following benefits: offense up, speed up, critical chance up, critical damage up, health steal, defense penetration up, and potency up. So you use that in combination with Grandmaster Yoda to drive the turn meter for Jedi Knight Luke. And what I would normally do is I would use his jump, so Master Stroke. I would jump into I would use the special ability, which would give him another turn. I would use battle meditation. He gains about, like, I think it's I don't know how much he gains turn meter here, so he gains turn meter for that, so he gets a turn really quick as well. And then you can use Master Stroke again, and it just like pumps the turn meter so well for Jedi Knight Luke. And that's why this little hunched over goblin right here is what's gonna drive you to get as much turns as possible for Jedi Knight Luke, especially for those phases that there's not a lot of enemies and you have to get Luke to his force repulse as quick as possible. All right, so let's jump into the fight so that you can see how to do this. All right, so here you're going to see they're going to take a bunch of turns in the beginning. Yoda almost died there. That's why I have Jolie. If he dies, then not a big deal. So pretty much the first turn that I can, you're going to use that special ability for that gives Luke a turn. and then I'm just going to be cycling through abilities here, trying to get Jedi Knight Luke as many turns as possible to go through here. So you just there's nothing too fancy here. As you can see, I'm just trying to cycle turns with Yoda, kill them as much as possible. I'm not going to use that special ability anymore, because if I use Heroes Arise right now, then I probably won't have it. So you have to be very careful with Heroes Arise. You can use it, but it's really, really dangerous. And as you can see, my team's actually hitting very, very hard because of the relics and the damage that I have. But you have to be careful in how much damage you bring and what kind of Jedi you bring, because if you do that and you deal too much damage, then you could possibly not get to Jedi Knight Luke's force repulse, and that happens later on. And I'll show you what I did to kind of circumvent that issue that I had because I had too high of relics. So as you can see here, I'm just trying to use basics, whittle him down. You just keep foresight as much as you can on your team, and then you just have to be careful. So right here, I'm going to, and this is why, hold on, there's something I want to point out there. So this is why I didn't want to bring Jedi Knight Revan, because if it was Jedi Knight Revan's turn right here and he used a basic and he killed this B2 super battle droid, that can make you lose a round, because then the enemy is going to start taking turns and you don't start your turn, so you can't slow them down. So they can take a bunch of turns, kill all your Jedi, and then you just lose. So you have to use this ability right here, Heroes Arise, at the end of every single turn. So you have to make it or time it out where you use it, everyone's going to assist, hopefully they die, and then Jedi Knight Luke starts with 100% turn meter, so he's going to start, he's going to take that first turn, and then if you give him enough turns, he'll have his stun, and he stuns everyone, and then you start the cycle again, and that's what you're supposed to do for every phase. But where it can go wrong is if the enemy has too much health and you use it and they survive, Jedi Knight Luke goes, and then you don't have your Heroes Arise ability, and then you run the possibility of dying the next phase, because Jedi Knight Luke doesn't have a turn to slow him down, because when he starts that turn, he slows the enemy, he stuns them, and that gives you pretty much 2 full turns where they're moving at like 120 speed for you guys to whittle them down, kill them, and possibly not take any damage and start the next phase. All right, so for this phase, I'm going to use this Heroes Arise. They're all going to mass assist, and then boom, we start the turn. Now Jedi Knight Luke can go use that force repulse, and we start again. So when it has phases like this where it's tons of enemies, I try to kill as many as I can as fast as I can without worrying about Jedi Knight Luke's abilities, because the danger is if you kill them too slow, then they could take a bunch of turns, they can target one Jedi and kill them. So if only like 1 or 2 survive by the time you like cycle through and they start taking turns, then that's what Foresight's there to save you and keep everyone alive. So it's very important that you guys focus on that. But also if you see like, okay, they all died really quickly, so I'm not going to use the Heroes Arise ability, and then it's just the damage on my team is kind of ridiculous. And as you can see, even 2 of them, if they would have just like targeted Yoda and I didn't have Jolie, this round could have ended right there. So all I'm doing right now is I'm trying to balance between killing them, having Foresight up, not taking too much damage, generating turn meter for Jedi Knight Luke, and then boom, Heroes Arise, kill him. Next turn I can use Force Repulse. I do take out these shield generator droids first, just because they give a lot of buffs out to the enemy. And as you can see here, I'm cycling through Yoda's abilities really quickly. That's juicing up Jedi Knight Luke's turns and then allowing him to cycle through his abilities. There's tons of enemies out. There's still 5 of them, so I use Heroes Arise to give Luke another turn, and then boom, I'm doing my Grandmaster Yoda cycle to generate that turn meter, and then still have all those droids out. So I'm cycling through all my abilities, including Hero Rise as well. And you just have to make a judgment call. Do you need to save it? Are you going to have enough turn to like to generate it again? What I will never do is I will never use that repulse because it's a 4-turn cooldown. So 100% if I would use it right now, I would have been in trouble the next round because I wouldn't have had the time to reduce those cooldowns. So you can use Heroes Arise in the beginning a few times if it's a bigger wave, but you cannot use Force Repulse again on a wave. Like, you have to save it for the next wave, and if you do use it, then you probably will lose the next wave, or you run the danger of losing the next wave, because even though you reduce their speed, then if there's a lot of them alive, then they can take a bunch of turns and kill you. So or they if they all take one turn, like 5 droids take a turn, then chances are one of your Jedi could probably die from that. All right, so for this one, same thing. I'm gonna go for that shield generator, and then once that shield generator's down, I'm gonna go all in on Grievous. It's important to kill that shield generator again because it just has tons of buffs, and then Grievous does not have the Zeta where if he's lower than health, it makes them it forces someone else to taunt, so he doesn't have that, but they're like the command droid right now does have a taunt. I dispel it with Jedi Knight Luke, and then I can go back into targeting General Grievous here. So again, I'm just cycling through my abilities to give turn meter to Luke, and then boom, just Force Arise to kill Grievous. So from here, you can kill him in whatever order. Command droids do go under stealth, so that can be annoying. I didn't use my Force Repulse there, and then now I'm just gonna go into and killing them as fast as I can. So I'm not gonna use, because there's only 3, I'm not gonna use the Heroes Arise now. Everything's pretty much under control, and they're gonna die pretty quickly. If you're killing slowly, you can use them for that, but or use Heroes Arrive more sparing or more liberally. But if you are killing really fast like I am, then I wouldn't. Also, key things that you can see, the middle ability for Hermit Yoda, it makes a mass assist, so you want to spread that a buff to everyone as you go through, because they keep it the entire round. So I do Jedi Knight Luke, then Yoda, then Anakin, then Jolie. So you just want to put it on your biggest damage dealers, and then it's an easy buff for everyone and mass assist. So something here, you don't want to use those mass assists. Like if I would have used the middle special for Hermit Yoda, there's a chance I could kill that command droid with all this damage here. So you want to be careful when you have one command droid left or one enemy left, not to use anything that cause mass assists or a lot of damage really quickly, because if you do, like if I would have used the mass assist right there, then a chance that command droid would have died, and then I would have been in trouble. But you have to balance it between sometimes you don't have enough, or they have too much health, and then if you use that Heroes Arise ability to give Jedi Knight Luke his turn and he survives, then you're going to run into trouble, because then you're not going to have the juice to run through and turbocharge Luke to get his turn. All right, so there you go. Now this is where it starts getting a little harder, because there's only 4 enemies, and these soldiers are really squishy. If I could do this again, I probably wouldn't have used any of the mass assist abilities. And I'm hitting for like 100k crits here, and I'm just like chewing through these guys like nothing. And at this point I'm like, oh no, I'm like so I'm doing my combo to try to generate turn meter and turns for Luke. And the Heroes Arise is no problem, but the problem is he's not going to have Force Repulse ready. And as you can see, I'm going to kill these before Luke has the turn. So he has one more turn, and I'm like, these soldiers are dying really quickly. So I'm going to have, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking like, can I even basic? No. And then I just like kill it right out. So now Force Repulse isn't ready. So now I'm in danger. So if this happens to you, what I'm doing is I'm using the combos for Grandmaster Yoda to cycle through abilities and as you can see, now Luke's going to take a turn. So even though these guys are crazy fast, I was able to generate all that turn meter with Yoda using that combination to give Luke another turn. And then it's kind of the same thing that happens here. The problem is that I'm doing too much damage, and this is why you have to taper like who you bring and who you don't bring. Enough survivability, but not too much damage to where you're just like absolutely destroying them. So that's why something like Jedi Knight Cal Kestis or something would be ridiculously too strong as a team member here, because he does like massive damage. So something to think about. You have to bring a blend of enough damage, but also not too much damage. And then see here, one thing is Old Republic don't have that Heroes Arise ability, so the more Old Republic Jedi you bring, the less turn meters Jedi Knight Luke is going to get, and then the likelihood that if Jolee would have been doing decent damage, he could have killed it, and then that could have ended the run. So this is also a really fast wave. So after 6-7 waves, it's really the geos are really squishy here, and you run the risk of not having your force repulse ready, and then you have trouble. And I think if I would go back again, as you can see, I'm using the Heroes Arrive there to try to generate turns for Jedi Knight Luke. Maybe I should have just focused on just doing cycles with Jedi Grandmaster Yoda, but as you can see here, like I barely got that Heroes Arrive ready, and then I have to use it again. So really risky. Now I have to cycle through 2 times with Jedi Knight Luke, and so I just have to do my best to go through. Don't worry about these counterattacks. They can die, but that's why I have Foresight there, and then you just keep them healthy, and it's fine. You'll survive it. So I continue to do my AoEs because I want to generate turn meter, but I'm doing the best of balancing, of making sure if I'm going to hit Count Dooku, that whoever's doing it has turn meter. So like Yoda has turn meter right here, so that's fine. And then at this point, it's just the end, so you can just do whatever you want. So I am going to try to like mass assist to kill Count Dooku. I did get the Force Repulse down, so I was able to cycle through 2 turns before I can to take him down. But like I said, if you just like have a little less damage, it's a lot easier. So I'm just trying to cycle around to hit mass assist for this. What you can do is if they have more than 50% turn meter, you can try to use the second special for Grandmaster Yoda, the one where he kind of flies around to possibly stun them and lower their turn meter. So there, Heroes Arise, kill Dooku. At this point, it's very easy. There's not much threat here. So I just took out Poggle because he has that ability block. Newt just died from mass damage, so that was pretty easy. At this point, I'm going to kill Asajj, and then Magna Guard is just like an afterthought. So again, you can use as much abilities as you want here. It's pretty easy, because at once those guys are dead, that's very easy. You don't hold back and you kill them all. So very easy fight, as long as you cycle your turn meter, you control Heroes Arise to end the turn. You cycle turns through Jedi Knight Luke to ensure that you're getting the force repulse ready. And that's it. That's the guide, guys. Like a lot of things that can go wrong. I didn't need Jolee, but he's just that safety net. He is Old Republic, so it doesn't have that full functionality of the Jedi, but really strong overall team. So I would recommend this team was pretty good, but you can mix and match whatever Jedi, I would say. But Grandmaster Yoda and Hoda, very useful in this. So that's what I would recommend. At least the core is these 3. So Jedi Knight Luke, Grandmaster Yoda, and Hoda. And even if Grandmaster Yoda is like gear 12, then absolutely bring him. Like, he's so important for generating turn meter for Jedi Knight Luke, and getting that turn meter cycle is to get Jedi Knight Luke up and running. So if you have any comments, concerns, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.